Welcome, everybody, to episode 12 of the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan, just got back from vacation Boyd, and that guy over there is Campbell, too cool for school. He ain't no fool. McLaughlin. Campbell, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. School's out for summer and or forever. And I'm on the mend with the whole wrist thing, so I could actually paint again this week.
That's fantastic. I just got back from the pool. I was out there this afternoon. So I smell like cocoa butter and booty.
I thought you always did.
Me and Fulgrim.
I thought
that's how we smell.
That's like eau de Dan, like that is your bottled scent.
Did you say eau de Dan? I think it's pronounced O.
Yeah.
You're like from Baltimore. Eau de Dan.
Or a Hot Shots Part 2.
Drink a natty bow on a patio. Okay, sorry. Listeners, hi, what's up? We're here. Okay, so I had this whole plan of doing like this whole gaslighting, like, oh, what's been going on? I don't know, blah blah blah. But then I realized that we did that last episode.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do it this time. 8th edition is out. People have been playing it. I was on vacation when it dropped in beautiful Portland, Oregon, which was really nice, by the way. Thanks for asking. And
lovely Portland.
This America's second favorite Portland. Though I learned that Portland, Oregon is named after Portland, Maine.
How about that?
Because the two guys that founded it were from Portland, Maine, and Boston. And they flipped a coin to see if it would be called Portland or Boston.
Huh.
And I'm very happy for them that they landed on Portland, because nobody wants to be called Boston.
I would take offense to that, except for the fact I don't technically live in Boston, just very close to it.
All right, man, so let's get to the aspects now that I have my pop filter on, because there is a lot going on. I just finished Griff Oberwald, the star player for the Reichland Reavers. Very excited about that. You can see him if you follow me on Twitter, at DBSleazy, because I fucking posted pictures of him.
Yeah, you did. He's looking good.
Real pleasure to paint that model. The Forge World star player models are fucking, I'm kissing my fingers and doing the fucking, molto bene fucking hand gesture over here, because
that's a spicy meatball.
There's some spicy fucking meatballs over there, man. I've started on Hackflem Scuttlespike, who has an 80 grade name for the star players for Blood Bowl. He's a Skaven gutter runner with 2 heads and 4 arms, and I'm really, really excited to paint him because I've never painted Skaven before. And I'm going to make him all messy and rusty and warpstony, and I'm really excited for all that.
4 arms, 2 heads, and 1 bad attitude.
There you go. The big news is I started my first Primaris Space Marine.
Like gasp.
Yeah, right? So I chose the Power Sword Lieutenant as my test model. Mm-hmm. He's actually my favorite model in that box, the Dark Imperium box. And I wanted to go big as opposed to going home. So I picked him to go first, and I am super excited to get to work on him. I got to finish Hacklam first because I have Skaven players in my Blood Bowl league, and they would love to use him once he's nice and painted up. But then I'm going to get to the Primaris Marines, and I am very, very pumped to do so.
Dude, very nice. Like I'm looking forward to get. I have the set myself, but I haven't actually. I've cracked it open. I've got to look through there. I haven't really got to build anything from it yet. But I think I might have mentioned in the last episode, but there was like a 3D printing company that does like shoulder pad emblems that are molded to the shoulder pad.
Yeah,
it's called Pop Goes the Monkey, and which is a terrible name, I think, but whatever. Their product's pretty cool, and I think I'm gonna pick up some Templar and not Blood Raven icons from them to stick on my guys.
So you're not doing Ultramarines.
Not with these boys, no.
You're not doing Dark Angels.
Why would I do that? It's not like I have 3,000 points of them or anything.
You're not doing Blood Ravens, which is what I wanted you to do.
I'll be doing a bit of that. So basically, I want to do a handful as Black Templars just so I can add them in there because now I have 2 sets of them. And I want to start off a Blood Ravens army too of just big guys and just add in a few big guys into my Black Templars while I'm at it.
You got to do Blood Ravens, so when we ever do a doubles thing, we can do Raven Ravens.
Yeah, we can do the Bird Bros, yeah.
Bird Bros. Yeah, so I've been thinking about painting how I'm going to paint these guys. And, Raven Guard stuff, black, sergeants get white helmets, captains, white helmets, white arms. I think I'm going to do white arms and white helmets for the lieutenants, too.
Nice.
And I haven't painted a lot of black armor recently.
Yeah, when was the last time you worked on one of your Raven Guard?
5th edition.
Okay, it's a few years then.
Yeah, a while ago. So I wanted to ask you how you do your black for your Black Templar, and see if you have any pointers.
Yeah. So first of all, like I'll prime my guys' blacks just with like Krylon black spray or whatever black primer you can find. They're mostly pretty good. I would just avoid Armory because it's shit, and GW's black primer because it's just fucking black paint. Next, I always just paint the model again in black because it has a different finish than what actually comes out of the spray can, and it'll really bug you if you're cleaning up highlights and the finishes are different. Like this part's matte, this part's kind of glossier. That looks shitty. So I use P3s. I think it's Thanar black. Like they're just basic black of P3 puts out. Okay. I just use a kind of wet brush, paint the whole model with that.
Where do you start with the edge highlighting?
I just do every single edge with Incubi Darkness. No, with Dark Reaper, because Incubi Darkness is a bit of a green tint and Dark Reaper has a bit of a blue tint. So using Dark Reaper, I just highlight all the edges, and then I'll get the very corners and like very top round edges of things with Fenrisian Gray, which is old Space Wolves Gray.
So I was thinking of taking that a little bit further and doing Dark Reaper, then Storm Vermin Fur, a smaller highlight, like a finer highlight on every edge, and then doing corners and spots with Administratum Gray.
Okay, I get that. See, I like the so I did a bunch of Ravenwing with my Dark Angels, and I didn't really like doing like a more gray highlight. I never liked how that looked. I always just felt kind of boring, and it wasn't really fun for me to do. I like the little bit of blue you get out of the Dark Reaper and the Fenrisian Gray.
I want to incorporate gray though, because the accent pieces are going to be white and a little bit of red. I'm going to do them like Third Company Raven Guards, so their shoulder guards trimmed in red. And I like the idea of them being mostly grayscale.
Okay, yeah, I get that for the theme.
Because I feel, and this is opinion, that having them mostly grayscale would sort of adhere to the idea of Raven Guard and their whole stealth thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too hard into it. No, I'm gonna have to experiment. Is what I'm gonna have to do. I'm just gonna have to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, man. It's like I don't think you're gonna go wrong either way. And you've like you're a better painter than you were back in 5th edition. So I think these guys look pretty good.
Yeah. I'm really excited to get to work on them, man. I haven't painted Raven Dudes in a while, and I can't wait. These models, the Primaris models, are so fucking cool. I cannot wait.
How are you going to do the white?
Base coat with Mechanicum Standard, and then get a smooth coat of, what's it called? Ulthuan Gray.
Yup.
On top of that, then do a recess highlight with Nuln Oil. Or I guess low light, I would suppose.
A wash, if you will?
No, not a full wash.
Yeah, a pen wash, yeah.
Yeah, a targeted wash just to the recesses, whatever, recesses. And then I'll do a line highlight, a fine edge highlight of White Scar.
Yep, that's pretty much exactly what I was going to suggest you do.
That's white. That's how I do white.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
It's one way to do it. And I'm also going to do, I got to work out how I'm going to do their skin. Because Raven Guard are supposed to be kind of have very pale, almost albino skin with their eyes, their sclera are entirely black.
Which makes painting eyes a lot easier.
Makes them painting real fucking easy, which I'm excited for. So I gotta figure out exactly what mix I'm gonna do for that. I'm thinking about doing base Arakarth flesh, then pallid witch flesh with a recess highlight of Reikland Flesh Shade, and then probably just another pallid witch flesh over that or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I'll say one like little pro tip is do a tiny bit of purple wash under the eyes.
Ooh.
Just because those bruise a little bit. It is a minor thing, but it really does add a lot.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Like, don't go too heavy or it looks like your guys will be wearing eyeshadow, but just like a little bit in there. Which means if you're
with Raven Guard.
With Raven Guard, as they pull out their LPs of Boys Don't Cry and they apply their eyeshadow.
I feel like Raven Guard are more of like the Hawthorne Heights Space Marines. Or perhaps the Fallout Boy Space Marines.
I think of them as a little more old school than 2006 emo kid.
I'm sure Korax listened to The Cure.
Yeah, I'm just curious, who are the Space Marine scene kids? With XOX, Guns Go Bang, XXX for their AIM usernames. Anyway, I actually got some painting done myself this week.
Did you? Tell me about your Auspex.
Yeah, because like it's been a little bit since we last recorded, and I'm in the middle of moving myself, so most of my shit's actually packed up. But before we
it's crazy. We're both moving right when 8th drops. It was the worst time for 8th to come out for me.
Yep, we're moving in with each other. We're going to get a place together. It's going to be really nice.
We're moving halfway between Washington, D.C. and Boston, Wilmington, Delaware. I don't know if that's halfway.
It's probably better than Wilmington, Massachusetts. Oh, don't go to Wilmington, Massachusetts. Anyway, I got to get some painting done, and I painted up a squad of 5 Assault Terminators for my Black Templars, and that was a lot of fun. I had this whole system. I had this paint tray thing I got from Black Maria Designs, like a laser cut MDF thing. It had all these little holes you punched out for your paint pots, and I still kept all those little wooden discs. I figured I'd find some use for them at some point, so I glued a bunch of thumbtacks on them one at a time, and then I could drill a hole in a helmet I want to paint white and stick on that and prime that separate from the model that was painted black. So I painted the helmets and the shields separately from the actual Assault Terminators because they're big and they get in the way, and I'm real happy with how they came out.
I've seen pictures of them. You posted them, and they look really fucking good.
Well, thank you. I'm almost to getting a fieldable force of Black Templars. I think I'm probably around like 50 power or 1,200 points of points. But other than that, I picked up the Dark Imperium set. Mm-hmm. I was at the Alpha Omega Hobby launch party in Quincy, which does kind of look like Chernobyl, but they're at least working on their own game store there. But I traded the Nurgle half to Patrick, who is a listener of the show, and it is his first 40k army, and hopefully once. Hi, Patrick. And not you, Patrick. The Patrick I saw. There's a few Patricks out there, I'm sure. And yeah, we'll get a game in once he's got his Nurgle boys all assembled and hopefully painted too.
Yeah, those models are also pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, I got to check out the sprues because I was splitting the box up, and like these guys look really awesome, and is totally not my scene. The horror, spooky, goopy zombie aesthetic is not really who I am and not what I'm after. But I can admit they're really well sculpted models. Yeah,
they've. I mean, as much as I hate like just gushing over Games Workshop because everybody else is doing it right now, God damn, they fucking killed it with this one, man.
Oh yeah. No shit. And the Primaris guys, even the Buck Bumble Marines, like I like those guys, but
I love the Bumble Marines. You kidding me?
I can't wait to get them in a Bumble Rumble, but I gotta build them first.
I am really excited to see where they go with that chassis. Like,
yeah.
if they make like dudes with like dual fucking power axes as Bumble Marines, how fucking tight would that shit be?
Just murder bees.
They
would be the killer bees. They'd be the killer bees.
Oh, so excited.
No, but for once, yeah, because like every kit they make is a dual kit, so I'd expect them to have a close combat version of that. Because it did kind of throw me for a loop when it's like, oh, the jump guys have guns, but no, those guys are real neat. I mean, whatever. We talked about the contents of the box. They're all great. I got to check. I also picked up the objective markers because those are really neat. I'm probably not going to use them all for objective markers, but some of those, like the surgical table and
or the tank with the Gene Stealer.
The tank with the Gene Stealer head. Yeah, those are going to be great for terrain. I picked that up. I picked up a bunch of the stupid like wound counter dice and the objective cards because why not? And I actually used them in my games.
I got the objective cards too, actually, because I played a fucking Maelstrom mission, and I was at the store, and I was like, shit, I don't want to fucking deal with dice. I turned to the guy, I was like, hey, you got any of those cards? And dude was like, yeah. I was like, how much? He was like, $12. I was like, take my money.
Yup. But yeah, I got to check that stuff out, and but we'll get to our games in a second. As for anything else you've done hobby-wise before we go into like whatever new releases there are,
well, I was that many. Salivating. No, let's go to new releases because I saw a couple pictures. Saw a couple pictures of new pictures of the Redemptor Dreadnought.
That thing's the size of a Leviathan. That thing's big.
I want one so fucking bad.
Yeah. It has like a little bit more of a BattleTech aesthetic to it, sort of, because it's got the it does have the more rounded Adeptus Mechanicus style legs, like you kind of see on some of the AdMech robots, which kind of ties into the whole Belisarius Call thing narratively, which I really like. I like that they kind of bring in the narrative and the sculpting kind of full circle. But it's a box knot that's bigger and a little less boxy. I like it a lot.
I'm really excited. I'm probably going to buy 2 because I think they look fantastic. I guess we're gonna have to wait a few weeks for that to come out. Same with the Repulsor. We're gonna have to wait a few weeks. I'm gonna get it.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna fucking put Raven Guard stickers on it. It's gonna be fucking cool.
Corax was here written on the back, but yeah, I think I'm gonna hold off on buying new Primaris Marines until I paint the ones in the starter set, and hopefully by then there'll be like a start collecting box, and I can pick up a lot of the stuff for a little.
100%, 100%. I have my hobby backlog is stupid right now. I have all the Primaris Marines, which I'm gonna do first, and then I have a fuck ton of guardsmen that I'm just gonna have to blitz through these guardsmen and get them done.
Yeah,
because we'll talk about it a little more further when we start talking about like playing 8th edition and our impressions of it. But I need more guardsmen.
Everyone needs more guardsmen.
I need a lot more guardsmen. The 120 that I have just don't cut it. I need to pump it up to 200.
Dude, 120 guardsmen, that's amateur hour. You need at least 200 to play with the pros.
It's only 12 squads.
Only 12.
What am I going to do? All right. New releases. Anything else you got?
We got Ogre, Elf, Vampire, and Halfling teams on Made to Order for Blood Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I like the Elf team, the Wood Elf team is pretty dated. Very, very or 4th edition fantasy, that aesthetic. However, the Vampire team looks awesome.
So the Ogres.
The Ogre team... Okay, the one problem with the Ogre team is there's only like 2 Snotlings that come in that kit.
Yeah. And
you need like 7.
Eep.
So I don't know where people... I mean, I guess there's tons of Snotling models out there that you probably cut off Orc sprues or whatever the fuck. Yeah. But those models, the Ogres, I have one old metal one for my old metal human team, and I love it. It's goofy as fuck. They just look like giant football players.
I also like, well, it's like the old Ogres, a lot of those ones just look like giant Empire dudes. Like there was one where he is dressed like an Empire soldier and he's holding a cannon like a handgun. Yep. It's awesome.
Yep.
No, I love that old aesthetic.
Yeah. So those I love those old Blood Bowl kits. It's so cool that they're doing the whole made to order thing. Just remember, people, if you're gonna play Blood Bowl, do yourself a favor and don't play Vampires or Ogres. They're like the 2 worst teams. Well, vampires aren't so bad, but ogres are. The ogres used to be the best team when they had goblins instead of Snotlings.
Yeah,
they were nearly unstoppable. You fucking rock 6 ogres and 5 goblins on a team. They just murdered everything. But now with Snotlings, who are truly terrible, like strength 1, they get smashed by armor 5. They get smashed by everything. So you just ignore the ogres, who half of them are going to be fucking boneheaded the whole goddamn game. You ignore them, smash the Snotlings. Nobody can pick up the ball, and the ogres can't do anything except hit your guys. So it's like ogres are a very tough team to play. Same with vampires. Same with halflings. Wood elves are one of the better. They're elf teams, so they're great at throwing, and they have the best cage breakers and war dancers. You just jump over enemy models and then drop kick your fucking ball carrier, and you're just like, what the fuck.
Nice.
So
there's one more thing, which it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Like I didn't know about it until I was at a friend's house, and they just like looking at the phone, and they found it. But it's the Age of Sigmar Thunder and Blood starter set, which is like a second starter set missing some of the models. Like it doesn't have the characters, I don't think, but everything's in colored plastic. And the only reason I really need to talk about this is because it comes with the double-sided gaming mat, which is kind of cool. But I think it looks kind of like a cardboard mat, and it's like 2x4 instead of 4x6. But most importantly, the box can be made into terrain by turning it inside out.
What?
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
It's like when a friend of mine was like, he was like, yeah, it comes with terrain. I'm like, oh, cool. I'd be into getting this for the terrain. I look at it. It's just a big fucking square with like art with like, it looks like photos of the actual Age of Sigmar terrain just kind of like textured over it.
Hey, you know what? I feel like that might be kind of a smart thing.
No, that is a smart thing. Because like, if I was a kid and it was like and that was how I got started, I would love having that for a piece of scenery.
Yeah, that reminds me of that Shadespire game we played at Adepticon almost.
A little bit, yeah.
I want that to come out. I'll fucking play that.
I'm still waiting on a release date. Like they've even teased the Skellies for that thing. But hopefully that comes up for too long because I want to play that game.
All right, should we move on?
But, yeah, let's talk about another game we want to play, and it's Warhammer 40,000 8th edition. Woo!
All right, so have you gotten any games in yet?
Yeah, I actually I got a game in the day I got everything.
Oh, nice.
So I showed up at the hobby store with a bunch of my friends in tow, and we headed back to my friend Dylan's house, and it was like he only really had room for one game to go on.
Did you guys walk in like the crazy 88 from Kill Bill? Bum, 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 bum.
No, because we had to wait outside in line for a while.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that'd be kind of anticlimactic just staying there in line, but. Yeah, no, we rocked in there. We picked up everything, waited for Patrick to show up, and I traded in my stuff. And we went back to Dylan's house, and we're just hanging out there. And everybody just like, there's 5 of us at this point. We're just like poring over the indexes and looking at how we're going to build our armies and all that stuff. Because none of us really paid that much attention to all the leaks going out. Because I'm like, I want to be surprised. I want to actually feel like the joy of discovery instead of seeing some like canted angle not even scans, like photos off an iPad screen with a separate camera.
Dude's fucking disgusting chewed up nails in the picture.
Yeah, like worse than mine, and it's coming from some back alley Russian website where it's like real legit Warhammer.ru, and I'm like, no thanks. But no, it's like
I want an accent there.
a small one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry,
dude. I did a terrible like Grand Theft Auto cartoon years ago, and the whole thing is just me talking like, "Hey, it's Nico Bellic." It's fucking bad, and I get like comments from people, like actual Russian YouTubers, like people on YouTube being like, "Are you from Russia? I had no idea," and they were being like totally sincere, and I'm just thinking like, how can you think that? It's a bad accent. It's a really bad accent.
Way to humble brag there, fella.
I'm admitting it was terrible.
All right, come on, continue, please.
Yeah, all right, cool. So we're just like, you know what, power levels sound like the cool thing to do for us because like we play a pretty casual, like kind of chill out way of playing the game. So like I wouldn't take these for a tournament, but for just hanging out at a friend's house, popping a few beers and hanging out, we just put together 2 lists of power levels. Took like 5 minutes each. We built 113 power level armies, which is silly, but that's how much chaos he has. So he had a pretty mixed bag chaos force, and I had a Ultramarines force. And the cool thing was every model was like no newer than 1997, and it was all old Hammer looks. So it was all goblin green bases, bright primary colors. Because if you see my Ultramarines, you know what those look like. But his chaos army is painted the exact same aesthetic. So it looked like an old school like 2nd edition Warhammer game using the 8th edition rules.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so his force had Abaddon leading it, and I had Calgar leading mine, and we basically just kind of had the battle kind of formed around the 2 of them getting in a fist fight. We rolled up like the default scenario just for our first game, like let's just keep it simple as we can, and it basically boiled down to being one objective straight in the middle of the table.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't think I totally know how detachments work because I see all these people being like, you need to max out the detachments to get more command points. I'm like, do you? I wasn't aware of that. So I set a bunch of command points and he had a bunch of command points. And those are a fun mechanic.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, like I got to interrupt one of his assaults with one of them. I got to have Calgar reroll his invulnerable save so we could actually beat Abaddon into the ground.
Nice.
And I also rolled like Abaddon wounded Calgar like 6 times. Each one of his hits does like 3 wounds or whatever.
Yep.
And I saved 5 of them, and I rerolled the last one and saved that too. Oh, which was great.
Fuck you, Abaddon.
Yeah, which I felt pretty good about. He was getting a little salty, and I don't blame him because my dice were on fire. And by the end of the game, it was pretty clear. Like I'd pretty much controlled the table. I still had a third to half my army left, and he had 7 models left on the table. And he was like, "Oh, how many are near the objective? You have like 2, and move up, charge." And he just was able to actually take the objective with his last 7 models on the table and pull out a victory on the last turn, which is actually
my God.
Yeah. So if anyone asks you how bad are you at Warhammer, Campbell, I'll just refer to them to that situation where I have like 6 times more models on the table and most of my armor is still operational, and I still lose to 7 naked Chaos Marines in the open.
That is pathetic, and you should be executed by the local commissariat representative.
I will report to the local commissar, and he will see what he has to do to re-educate me.
Maybe some flogging.
A little bit of friendly flogging.
Oh, friendly flogging, no.
Some get you by flogging.
Some how's your father flogging.
A little bit of how's your father.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
So I've played a couple games too.
Oh yeah.
Both of them went way worse than your games or that game. I'll start with my first one. I played Tuesday after it came out when I got back from vacation against Kevin. Hi, Kevin. And he brought some orcs, and I brought some guard, and we stopped playing after turn 2 because I had probably 300 points worth of stuff on the table. It was a 1,500 point game, and he had probably 1,200 points of stuff on the table.
What did he do?
Well, he had a good list, a strong list that he had been thinking about for a while, and I had a list that I made up at lunch before we played. And he had 2 battle wagons, and he drove them up on the first turn, got them as close as possible to my guys, and Imperial Guard has a problem with they don't kill a whole lot of stuff.
That's a problem. So,
I had a couple of Melt-A-Gun squads, but they, I'm learning still how to play this version of 8th edition, and what I should have done is had both of my Melt-A-Vet squads in Chimeras pulled up close, and together, basically, like next to one another, so I could go focus them on one battle wagon and take it down and then try to eradicate the stuff that's inside. I did not do that. I held them back because I'm dumb, and they just really didn't do too much. And Lehman Russes right now they're bad. Mm-hmm. They don't hit for shit. Because the whole D6 shots thing.
Yeah, you're only hitting half of those,
and you're only so you're only going to hit like 1.5 times, and that's just with strength 8 -2, D3 damage. It's just not that much.
Like that can punch a good hole in another vehicle, but yeah, that's not going to take out mobs of guys the way it used to.
Right. So the problem, he also had a weird boy sling a unit of 30 boys. Onto the other, you know how they can sling across the table.
Well aware.
And they can reroll their charge.
Yep.
Orcs can. So it was first turn. He was like, "Oh, here's 30 boys charging and eating a whole bunch of your guardsmen." And I was like, that's good. And then it just turned into like, I can't kill enough. So after 2 turns, I had most of my stuff was gone or about to be gone, and it took a really long time to the game because I didn't know how to play. It was my first fucking game. It was his, I think, second game. So we were learning as we go, but it was not getting better, and so we called it. But I mean, Kevin's a really good dude. He's a smart guy, man. He's like an engineer or some shit, and so he comes at 40k with like a very, very focused mindset, and like he's got like an intuitive way to like figure out the effectiveness of certain things. Whereas,
I know the type.
Whereas I'm like, I like fucking tanks, so I'm gonna use a bunch, and
he's like over there with a protractor, and you're just like pushing your GI Joes together, going.
It's true, making fucking shooting noises. I'm like turning the turrets of my tanks. I'm like. But yeah, so that was not a very good game. Again, he's a good dude, but the Steel Legion did not perform well on the table. And then I played another game against Death Guard, where the same thing happened. Where it's just that Death Guard, you just can't fucking kill them.
Yeah, I've heard they're pretty tough to kill.
That the Feel No Pain you might think like it's not called Feel No Pain anymore, but you might think whatever, who cares? This dude also had like a mostly painted Dark Imperium set.
Damn.
And that was
quick.
Less than a week after it was released.
Golly.
I mean, it wasn't like he hadn't done the details, but he had like, 4 or 5 colors in each, all the base coats done.
Not bad.
And I'm like, man, how the fuck did you do this so quick? Must be nice. Anyways, played him. He had a bunch of Death Guard, new Death Guard, and older Death Guard stuff, and just couldn't really do much of anything. Couldn't kill enough stuff quick enough. I had a similar, it was another 1,500 point game, similar thing where, my guys just didn't kill a whole lot of stuff, and then he had a bunch of stuff that got close quick, took out a bunch of shit of mine, and it was just sort of off to the races. Played through the whole game. Took a lot quicker than the one before because I was getting a hang of what I was doing. But still, the Guard right now, man, are not in a very good way. I've been talking to people about how to, play Guard effectively, and it's basically like, use a bunch of stuff you don't have. Like
like what?
Tempestus Scions, because they can deep strike. And so,
first of all, they're called Stormtroopers.
Okay, Stormtroopers. You deep striking a bunch of Stormtroopers with special weapons everywhere. A lot of command squads.
Special weapon spam.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I mean, I have them, but I don't know. I like the lots of infantry, lots of tank, or like blocks of like 30 to 50 conscripts, and like a huge giant bubble wrap, and yeah, okay, that's one way to do it, but. Man, I am.
Here's the thing. I like my guardsmen being bad, but I don't like them being child soldier bad. Like conscripts are too weak. Like they're too bad for me. I don't want to be hitting on 5s and then wounding on 5s and 6s most of the time. Like that's too rough.
Oh, when I was playing Kevin, a cool thing happened. I killed his battle wagon. The final wound, las guns.
Nice.
Yeah, a 10-man squad opened up with first rank fire, second rank fire. And just lit up a battle wagon with, I think it had 2 wounds left, and took off both last wounds. Fucking las guns killed a battle wagon.
Nice. That's
I was happy about that.
I expected
that was
to hear.
Cool. Killing that battle wagon though, dude. It took literally 75% of my army to do it.
Jesus.
I took a Hydra in that game too because he had 2 DACA jets. DACA jets are real fucking good. Yeah. And the Hydra, guess what? Still sucks.
How? It's +1 to hit aircraft, and it's got like 8 shots.
But remember, aircraft
strong.
Aircraft are always -1.
So you're hitting 4 times.
Hitting 4s. So you're hitting 4 times. I did 2 wounds total to it.
I think you just need new dice.
Maybe. I was not impressed by the Hydra. And then he like pulled off these ridiculous fucking charges, and then the Hydra was in combat with nowhere to go because it was all the way in the back. So I was just like, what the fuck? One thing I'm not a huge fan of is the whole surrounding vehicles with dudes so they can't fall back. Because I feel like a vehicle would just drive over people. Like fuck your one orc boy behind me. I'm gonna drive over him and get away. Yeah,
it's not gonna be polite.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And maybe that's just me who plays a vehicle heavy army, getting pissed about something that negatively affects just my army, but not a fan. Otherwise, though,
clearly you need to play Eldar and just have grav tanks that jump around.
Right,
they can do that.
I have right after that, I went home and I used the indexes to price out all the stuff I already have.
Yeah,
which was actually kind of a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while because you have to flip back and forth with all the books and stuff.
The formatting is questionable.
The formatting sucks on that. But now I have a price list for all my shit. So it should be very easy to construct armies. And I did that for not just my Steel Legion, but my Raven Guard too. And I am pretty excited, actually, to get a game in with the Raven Guard.
Nice.
I think I can do some fun things because Shrike is actually kind of back.
Nice.
Like he was good in 4th edition. Not good, but he was all right in 4th edition. And after 4th edition, he was kind of garbage. But he is 150 points, which is not much for a Space Marine captain.
No, that's not too far from like a stock captain with a few weapons.
He's got, the lightning claws that do a bunch of wounds. But his cool stuff is he's a chapter master. So any Marine squad or any Raven Guard squad within 6 inches rerolls all to hits.
So here's my thing, because I had Calgar here, the same thing. Does he count for that?
Yes. Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yes.
So he rerolls those because he
is an Ultramarine that's within 6 inches of himself.
I figured that was the case, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't being kind of cheesy. But because him and Abaddon both had, like, Abaddon has basically the same rule, except I think it's within 12 or something like that. And so they were just punching each other and just rerolling saves all the time.
Yeah, so Shrike can also allow Raven Guard units within 6 inches to re-roll charge distance.
Nice.
And since he has a jump pack, he can deep strike.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it might be fun to deep strike him and a unit of Assault Marines or a unit of Vanguard Vets or something down near, 9 inches away from the enemy, and then have re-rolls for the charge, which, I mean, hey, it might work.
Yeah, no, that actually
might be fun,
almost reliable.
So that's I think my next game is I'm going to break out the old Bird Brothers and see how they play.
Cool. See, in our game we played till turn 5. I don't know if the scenario goes longer than that. Most Sigmar scenarios don't go longer than that, so we just kind of assumed that was it. So I have not gone back to check, but we totaled up our power levels because we were both at 113 power level. And I ended up being, I think, 200 to 300 points over him, which explains why I had so much stuff left at the end compared to him.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, he's also taking, like, a lot of Chaos Marine squads. Like, he had, like, 2 of Khorne Berserkers, 1 of Thousand Sons, 1 of Plague Marines, and they're taken in their holy numbers. So...
Right.
Yeah, so it's like 5 power points and then plus 5 power points for up to 5 more guys instead of being 20 points per guy or whatever. So I feel like that definitely kind of... that put the hurt on him a little bit. Although, fun fact, the only holy number that you can actually get, like, exact with power points is with Nurgle guys, because Plague Marines can be 5, 7, or 10 with that system.
That's right. I think they did that
solely because of the box set.
The box, yeah.
I'm hoping they'll do the sort of thing like they did back in the old days, where it's like if you take the holy number, you get a reroll to something or whatever. But oh god, speaking of the box set, because I got to look through the little pamphlets and I've looked through the rulebook a bit. It has one. I was reading through the Nurgle one, and there's one stupid fucking pun in there where it refers to their weapons as wrought iron weapons, except it's spelled ROT, not WROGHT or WROUGHT. Like, really? Cool. This is as dumb as silencer, spelled PSI. But
hey, silencers are pretty good. They do D3 wounds.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good now instead of just being like a shitty 4 bolters at once or whatever.
I gotta
you got Grey Knights.
I gotta price out my Grey Knights.
Yeah, all my stuff's packed up right now, so I haven't been able to price out anything but my Templars and the list I took the other day.
Right.
It took us about 3 hours for the equivalent of a 2,000 point game, essentially, but that was also factoring in time to refresh drinks, just hanging out. We're learning the new rules for a game, and we're sitting around with like 3 other people, and we're all kind of like chatting a bit about the new stuff going on.
Right.
And then after our game, Cody and Kyle, who were 2 other guys there, they played a game with Dark Eldar and Tau, and I didn't really see what happened. It looked like the Dark Eldar were tearing the Tau a new one.
I feel like Tau players aren't. I've heard a lot of Tau players get upset. Not upset, but like they're also underwhelmed, like some Guard players are with 8th. And I think it's because we have to rethink how we play our armies.
We do. Like it's a new edition, a new game, and it's similar in a lot of ways, but it is different. Like some things are different. Like tactical Marines are kind of good now, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm actually very excited about this. It's time of experimentation. Like in college, where we get to figure out what's good by just playing with it. I have an idea for next time I play Guard. I'm going to bring all 4 of my Psychers and run 4 Primaris Psychers and just smite the fuck out of everybody and see how that works.
I'm waiting for I'm waiting for when a perils test happens and the Psyker explodes and sucks everyone around him into a black hole.
Fuck that shit, homeboy, because they're going to be next to commissars and they're going to get fucking executed before they can do that. You think I'm fucking playing around? Holy shit! Oh my god! Man. Oh my god, dude! I am so fucking excited. Greg Hess, Greggles himself, and I have a game scheduled at the end of July. And I am so fucking pumped for this because he's going to bring a goddamn Stompa, and I'm going to have my Baneblade and my Shadow Sword, and it's going to be fucking huge.
Nice.
And check this shit out. I'm going to bring Yarick because Yarick is really fucking good. Yarick is 130 points. Mm-hmm. Anything within 6 inches, Astra Militarum gets to reroll 1s unless you're shooting at orcs. And it's reroll everything.
Nice.
So I'm going to park Yarick next to the Baneblade and the fucking Shadow Sword, and I'm going to be like, see ya, Stampa. I was fucking around at home just rolling dice for fun. Mm-hmm. And
like you do. I don't judge for you for what you do on a Friday night.
And I rolled a Shadow Sword shooting at a Stampa.
Mm-hmm.
I did 43 wounds.
In like 1 round?
In 1 round of shooting.
Good Lord.
It's D6 shots, strength 16, armor I think -3, damage 2d6, and you get to re-roll wounds against things that are titanic.
Jesus, yeah, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do some work.
So I did it, and it was literally 43 wounds on the Stampa, which I don't know how many wounds Stampas have. I think it's like 30. But
really? I thought they had more than that.
It might be more than that, but I was like, yeah, I'm happy with 43 wounds with 1 round of shooting from one thing.
Jesus. Well, we're actually planning on doing a game because the rulebook itself has a shitload of scenarios in it, and a bunch of them are even like a little bit asymmetrical, which is cool. Where it's like, oh, there's one which is it's like it's the old bunker assault mission from 3rd edition, and it's like the attacker should have a bigger force than the defender, so I'd guess like 25% bigger or whatever, and as long as one bunker still stands at the end of the game, the defender wins or whatever. So Dylan and I are going to do a game sometime soon where he's going to take his orcs, because he has 2 orc armies, like 1 retro, 1 more modern looking, and just shitloads of them, and I'll take my Valhallans and I'll just hold the line and die to a man.
Do you have a Yarick?
I don't have a Yarick.
Maybe I should ship you my Yarick so you can use it.
Actually, no, I do. I converted one. His name is Colonel Vadim. He has he's based on the Dark Vengeance Commissar, and he's got like a 2nd edition Space Marine Power Fist and a shotgun in his other hand.
Oh, no, I've seen that guy, yeah.
Yeah, when I played with Buffalo Chicken, I had our converted Commissar guys hang out next to each other so we could take a picture with them.
You should use him as Yarick against orcs, because Yarick's real fucking good against orcs.
Yeah. Well, similarly, I want to bring my Crimson Fist out for a game like that too.
Oh yeah.
So here's one of my favorite things is the Space Marine battle pile is now a viable formation because it won't get your guys fucking pelted by a template. So you can finally have like your guys all standing in a little pile with a guy with a flag standing on top. And I was talking to a friend of mine about maybe we should figure out a way to maybe start 3D printing little movement trays of battle piles to move around the table.
You'll make a fortune.
There's my next business venture.
So
that'll make my first million.
So let's talk about the rulebook a little bit. I'm very impressed by the rulebook.
I actually didn't really register that it was actually a hardback real ass rulebook in the starter set until I opened it up.
It's awesome, dude. So like you've got all the backstory and stuff. We're gonna talk a little bit of the backstory, only a little bit because I haven't read all of it yet. But
Same.
There's the rules, which are only like 14 pages, 12 pages, something like that.
It's 12
and then
12 pages.
Then there's the advanced rules, which are another like 10 pages, which they're not that advanced.
They're more for like specific scenarios, if I recall, but I might be wrong.
Well, they're also like your guys in ruins. What does that mean? Your guys in woods. Yeah. What does that mean? Like that sort of thing. Yeah. Which is
I like the terrain. Every kind of terrain type, pretty much in there, has its own little like thingy. And here's the thing that impressed me: it wasn't called the Citadel Cups. It wasn't called the Cities of Death Ruin. It didn't have like a branded name. It's just like ruins, trees, pipes.
Yeah,
it was nice.
So the rulebook. It has a ton of cool background on all the armies. Great model pictures. Great new art. The new art is ridiculous.
I wish there was more new art, because I can think of like 3 or 4 new pieces of art, and that's about all I can think of aside from like the stuff in the corners and the borders.
Do we count like that sick fucking chaos like 4-5 picture like amalgamation of older stuff? Does that count as new art?
I wouldn't say that's new art. That's a remix.
Because that shit is, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Cool. It's
with
cool.
Fucking Abaddon crushing Terra, and that's a fucking it's so tight.
From the old Eye of Terror book.
Yes, but then they have all of the scenarios and ways to play, like the scenarios of the different ways to play.
Yeah,
and I don't, the open play I don't really give too much of a shit about that. But I'm very interested in exploring the narrative play stuff because I was looking at the missions are interesting, and they look so damn cool.
Yeah, well, that's where the bunker assault mission
I've
was.
only
that
played
looks like
matched,
a lot of fun.
I've only played match stuff so far. I want to get into some narrative, some power level play. And not because I want to like milk my fucking min-max the shit out of my power level dudes. I just want to use my WYSIWYG guys and just try different fucking things.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of lets you wow, just kind of a lot. It lets you just use what you want without it being unhinged. Like, it's not unbound, but it lets me use my, like, how often was I going to use a veteran sergeant with a power fist in a Devastator squad? More often than you'd think, but still, now I can take that and not get side-eye.
Every fucking game, but still.
Yeah. Well, what if they get charged? Someone's going to want to charge my Devastators.
Here's the thing. In 8th edition, somebody fucking will charge your Devastators.
And that hidden power fist won't get punked in your first
will
challenge.
Get there. Like I learned against Kevin with orcs. Orcs are fucking fast, dude.
Yeah.
Orcs are fast as shit. I'm fucking dreading playing my friend Young with his Tyranids. He's going to be in my face immediately without any weird psychic shenanigans. But then he'll have psychic shenanigans on top of that, where it means, like, yeah, my dudes are all immune to death.
Immune to the rule, death.
People on Something Awful forums have been posting some, I think, hilarious Tyranid lists that they want to use. I think mainly, to, like, troll this one guy. But, like,
it's not hard.
Tyranids look fucking nasty as shit, dude.
They do look pretty nasty.
Fucking Hormagaunts can consolidate 6 inches.
That's ridiculous.
If you're playing Tyranids...
That's how they should be, though.
Oh, yeah. They're fast as... Hormagaunts are fucking sick. I mean, if you can get enough shots at them, they'll fucking wilt like spinach in a hot pan. But
no,
like, what do you... Like, but when they get in your face, you're fucking done.
Yeah, you got to blanch those fuckers.
You got to John Blanch them.
Ooh.
Yo, okay, so Punishers are really good, though. Lehman Russ Punishers.
So are the Torox with the miniguns on top because it gets 20 shots.
Oh, my God. Oh, fuck. Yo, dude, I forgot to talk about Forge World. So I ordered the fucking index, the Forge World Astra Militarum index.
Yeah.
Because I want rules for fucking vendettas, because I have 2 fucking vendettas. I want my fucking rules.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to cost like 250 points each because they have 6 las cannons on them now.
Yeah, that's
very
dumb.
excited to get those rules because I want to use them because 6 fucking las cannons on a flyer is kind of scary. But more importantly is I want a fucking vulture.
Yeah, you do.
I want a goddamn 40-shot plane. That's the only thing. It's I'm gonna have to buy one. I really fucking want one.
And they're not gonna. It's not gonna take that much to paint up because it's just a guard vehicle. Like, you can get away with some pretty easier techniques in that one.
I already have I heard of fucking dry brushing. I already have a scheme for it. I'd have to buy another KR case though.
That's the hidden cost.
The shaped one. The flyer shaped one, because those things are impossible to fucking move around otherwise. But I gotta fucking buy one, dude. I want a 40-shot plane.
Dude, you get to go. It's fun.
So
it fires so many bullets, it starts to move backwards.
I just wanted to say about Forge World. Meant to do this, forgot about it. Doing it now. I ordered the neoprene mat from them for Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
And they sent an email. They're like, hey, we're not happy with the quality of these. I pre-ordered it, and so they got them in. And they're like, we're not happy with the quality, so we're not sending them out. We're going to refund you and give you a 25-pound sterling virtual gift voucher.
Damn.
So they refunded me I think it was 40 pounds that I spent on it.
Yeah.
And they gave me an additional 25 pounds.
Shit.
To spend on Forge World. So it looks like I'm buying a fucking vulture.
Instead of a Petch?
No, they've pulled those. They've pulled all of them.
Oh, so they just don't have them all together right now.
Yeah, they said in the email they sent, they're going to try to get them back in stock as soon as possible.
Okay.
So I'm buying a fucking vulture. Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy Punisher cannons. It's going to come to my house. I'm going to buy a KR case for it. I'm going to paint that fucker up, and I'm going to have a goddamn vulture, and I'm going to burn all over fucking everybody.
Oh, that's sweet. I got to find what the rules are like for my Thunderbolt, because I hope it's not terrible anymore, because it was terrible for a very long time.
Did you buy the Forge World Index?
I haven't.
Oh, well, when I get it, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, I'd like to know so I can feel that thing alongside my Valhallans.
I'm so excited to get more games in. I'm trying to get. It's Saturday now, listeners. It's Saturday. What is it? 24th.
Yep.
I'm trying to get a game in for tomorrow. Trying to schedule one, but nobody's.
I'm getting one in next week against a Tau player, and I'll be taking my Ultramarines because they're the only things I have that aren't packed up. So I'm looking forward to that. I wish I got more games between now and then, but with packing, I'm kind of busy.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
But yeah, so like I kind of had this moment when I was at my buddy's house. It was after our game, and we're sitting there like with our respective indexes, because he's got his looking at his orcs, I've got mine looking at my guard and my marines, and we're just kind of like excitedly showing each other like, oh, look what this thing can do, look what this thing can do, and looking through the rule book while two other guys over there are playing the game, and they're having a great time. They're discovering things too, and we have a fifth friend there who's also hanging out and contributing to the conversation. And I haven't had that interaction, like that sort of vibe, since high school. Like when 5th edition came out and we're all wondering, like, what are these new rules going to mean? And we're passing around the rule book and figuring what it all means. That like unrestricted glee and that excitement and that kind of air of mystery over what's happening next, what's coming next, that was a really, really like nice, heartwarming feeling that I've missed for a very long time. Because like 6th edition, I was like, oh, this is cool, time to shake things up, but I just kind of like read the rulebook on my own at home. And 7th edition, everyone was so cynical about it that like I didn't even get that rulebook for a few months after it came out. But this was just a bunch of people who haven't even played 40k in some cases in years, in some cases in like 2 editions, and they're excited about this game again. And that was a really cool feeling and a really cool kind of moment.
I am so happy that they released all the indexes or indices at once.
Yeah, same.
Because everybody gets to discover, along with everybody else, what the armies can do at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's, you know, like when different, like a card game releases a new booster pack or some shit, and everybody's like, oh, these cards, it's discovery. It's everybody coming together. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's the communal nature of gaming at its best, I think. And yeah, a lot of the indices, whatever, they're not perfect. Like they're formatting wise, don't get me started. But just like the actual list themselves, some of them have a little bit of imbalance issues. Some of them have better balance issues. Some of them are a little bland. But a lot of that stuff is going to get ironed out as they become real like codexes as we've.
Well, yeah, because the indices are stopgap.
Yeah, they get you buy books.
They're gonna get us to where the point where they can release an actual codex for each model. If you've been reading the book at all, the rule book, they talk about codices, whatever, in the book, and how they don't say anything, but they specifically reference codexes, of which there are none right now.
Yeah.
So that leads me to think that they're going to be releasing army-specific codexes that are probably going to change, though not, I wouldn't imagine too much, the models and the special rules and stuff in each army. You know what I'd like to see? You know what I want to see? I want to see codex-specific command points.
Yes. I want to see codex-specific command points, and codex-specific objectives I know we'll see, but codex-specific command points, that's the thing I'd really like. Because you have characters like Calgar, who's a master strategist, where if you take him in a list, you just get 2 command points for free. And I want some like Ultramarine-specific ones. That'd be super neat.
I would love to see that. That would be so cool. And even like faction-specific. I would love to see like Raven Guard command point things or stratagems or whatever the fuck you call them. Oh man, I sent an email to you earlier this week. I was literally I'm at work. You know, I come back from vacation with all this fucking Warhammer shit going on. I can't concentrate on anything at work. I'm fucking like giddy, being like, I want to go read my indices.
I want to go read my nerd books.
I was at lunch today reading the fucking White Dwarf.
Yeah,
people were fucking looking at me.
Let them judge.
Oh boy! All right, so the story of 8th edition. And I want to remind listeners real quick that we are running a fan fiction challenge right now. Yeah. Where if you want to send in 1 or 2 pages or something of an established Warhammer 40k character, such as the Swarmlord or Corsaro Khan.
Or Doom Rider.
Or the fucking Doom Rider. What's the Doom Rider up to in 8th edition? Just write us like a 1 or 2 pager about what they're doing and send it. Contact at 40kbadcast.com. Send it over. We want to read it. We want to have a couple of yucks over here.
Yeah, we've actually already had an entry, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we're going to be collecting these until Monday, July 10th.
That's right. So you've got, what, 2 weeks?
3 weeks, 2.5.
I'm
going
to try to get this out on the 25th. Tomorrow.
Let's just say 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Everybody, you got 2 weeks. So just give us something and make it funny. Or don't. Make it super fucking serious and we'll read it and be like, cool.
And it'll be like, cool.
Great.
We just suck the mood out of the show.
Great. So the story, I think it's like 200 years after the Gathering Storm, isn't it?
Yeah, it's after the Indominus Crusade.
Which was apparently successful?
Apparently, the Imperium's still there.
I haven't heard much about it, but great. Good for Rabute and Belisarius and Celestine and everybody from the whole Gathering Storm thing. That's great. The Astronomicon went out for a little bit.
Yep.
That was bad news.
Change the light bulb.
Giant, funny. A giant warp rift split the galaxy in twain.
So I think that's gonna lead into more things because it says that basically the galaxy is split in half and the Imperium is on either side of it, and there's one side of the Imperium that's not seeing the Astronomicon or getting the Emperor's light. So I've kind of got an inkling that might lead to maybe some sort of rebellion, not necessarily chaos, but some sort of like rebel faction or rogue faction or something like that.
Perhaps an Imperium Secundus. Okay, so I know that there are at least 3 people that do not play Warhammer 40k that listen to this podcast, and so let me explain some things for you real fucking quick. The Imperium of Man, it's a thing. It exists in space. It's pretty cool. The way you travel
is an Imperium.
The way you travel faster than light is you go through a dimension called the warp. The warp is a reflection of the material plane, and it's where all the emotions and stuff exist, and they exist in the form of demons, and they're not friendly.
It's space hell.
So you have to go through space hell. It's like in Event Horizon. You go through space hell to get to somewhere quicker. So the way you can navigate through that is in relation to where Terra is, or Earth. And how do you know where that is? Because there's a giant light bulb on it, and it is the Emperor. He generates this huge thing called the Astronomicon, which is the point at which all things can be referenced to. And when you can't see that point, when you can't see the lighthouse, you don't know where the rocks are, right? You don't know that you're near to shore, and you're going to sail into some bullshit. So when the Astronomicon went out, the Imperium was literally plunged into darkness.
A dark age of the Imperium, if you will.
There you go. A dark Imperium, perhaps.
You don't say.
The part of the Imperium that cannot see the Astronomicon because of this giant warp rift is effectively blind and can only safely travel at real speed, not warp speed, but real speed. So
which is slow,
very, very slow, sublight speed. So there you have it. That's how that works. It's not looking good, Campbell.
Here's the thing. It's not looking good, but there's still hope.
Well, it depends on what faction you like the most. The Imperium, there's some messed up stuff, but you got Rabute's back. Bobby G, he's back in the mix.
And there's hints of maybe more Primarchs coming down the line.
Oh my God, give me Corax, please. Games Workshop, give me Corax.
I want them to come up with a model for the unknown Primarch for the Blood Ravens, and it just looks like Mr. X from The Simpsons.
It's not unknown. The Blood Raven, it's fucking Magnus.
It's just Magnus wearing a paper bag with a question mark on it over his head.
It's Magnus. It's Magnus with like a commissar hat on. He's like, oh, I'm Commissar Sungam. That's me.
Ooh.
Commissar Sungam. How you doing?
How very Alucard of you.
Why are you 15 feet tall and red and have giant iridescent bird wings? Don't worry about that. I'm Commissar Sungam. Nice to meet you.
I'm here to help.
So the story is advancing.
Which is cool.
The Xenos story isn't really advancing.
They're not the focus of it at the moment. I'm sure that when Codex Eldar, Codex Orcs, whatever come out, they'll have some more stuff going in there. But honestly, I don't think the Orcs really give a shit what's happening in the galaxy. They just have stuff to crush.
They're just having fun.
They're having a great time.
The Nids are apparently there's a new Tyranid swarm Hive Fleet Hydra,
cool.
which is more effective than the Imperial Guard Hydra, but it's been cannibalizing other Hive Fleets.
That's frightening.
I think there's a lot of play you can have with that as far as story goes. The Necrons, what are they up to?
I genuinely don't know, actually. Please tell me.
I don't know. I don't fucking know either. This is listeners, write in. Tell us what they're up to. Looks like the Eldar have some shit to deal with the. Well, I mean, actually, oh man, Army. We're kind of doing the shotgun style, guys, because we're giddy with excitement.
And disorganized as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Creating an army is so cool. You just fucking keywords.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's so cool. Do whatever the fuck you want with keywords.
Together.
It's fantastic. Anyways, they can go a lot of different ways with the what's going on with the Xenos right now. Like the Tau. Did the Tau even really give a shit about these warp storms?
Yeah, they don't go above light speed anyway.
So a lot of really interesting stuff happens. I think we should wrap up our 8th edition chat and move on to Factor Fanfiction. What do you think?
I think it's time, yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks for listening to us gush, listeners. Like I said, we're pretty excited about this. This is one of those things where, we've been. I don't know about how you feel, Campbell, but I think that as a Warhammer player for a long time, I felt I had a good relationship with store managers, like local games workshops or or people in the community or whatever. But I never felt like I had a relationship with Games Workshop. And I mean, functionally, I don't. Dan Boyd does not. But as a member of the community now, I feel that we do have a relationship with Games Workshop.
And it's getting pretty serious. We're about to round second base.
Ooh, yeah.
Things are about to get steamy.
Is that over the shirt, second base? Or is that under the shirt? It is whatever we want it to be.
I'm trying to think of upon them having... I'm coming up completely dry.
Don't worry about it. Ooh, I hate it when you come up dry. Let's do Factor Fanfiction.
All right.
Is it anime this week?
No.
Oh, thank God.
That doesn't mean it's good.
Okay. Hit me, baby. One more time.
One last time. A defiant figure stood at the forefront of the battle line, screaming hatred and death to the enemies of the Emperor. Bullets whizzed by him, unnoticed. This is his story. His name is Inquisitor Maverick. His reputation among the Imperium was that of a hero from a long line of heroes, a very young Inquisitor Lord with a quick power sword and quicker wit. His story began 5 years ago, during the Black Crusade. His master, also his father, was investigating the tales of a rogue traitor who gave the pair information regarding a sinister alliance. According to the traitor, Eldar renegades, Tau rebels, and Chaos Marines associated with Fabius Bile have brokered a temporary truce to begin construction of a mind control weapon with which they can manipulate the raw energy of the warp. Their ultimate goal? Destruction of the Imperium by harnessing and controlling the Tyranid hive mind. While investigating these claims, his father was killed while storing Bile's laboratory Crone World. Before he died, he sent his son one last Vox message, in which he claims to have found a clue to the device's existence. Incoming transmission. Level Omega X. Son, I have found evidence of the infernal device. I have found a cavern where Xenos of all type are caged and taken into the experimentation chamber. A large majority of the aliens appear to be of Tyranid descent, most likely Genestealer hybrids. Most come on Harvester Eldar slave ships. I have seen none return alive. All leave lifeless, some showing signs of mutation, others showing nothing but pale, dried husks drained of all energy. By the Emperor, they are controlling a pureblood Genestealer as though it is a pet. I must return and warn. Die, scum. Son, find Tigurius. Tig. End transmission. Though only a young man, Maverick inherited his father's wealth, his title, and his mission. His best friend and bodyguard, an assassin named X, accompanies him on every mission, and though it was difficult to find and then actually be in the presence of the chief librarian of the Ultramarines, Tigurius as well joined the quest, having sworn an oath to Maverick's father in a battle long, long ago. Now, with the aid of the Ultramarines, Maverick's quest to stop the combined forces of evil and stop galaxy-wide annihilation continues. And in further writing, Maverick is basically written as Hannibal from the A-Team, but more chauvinistic.
Oh, it sucks. It sucks so bad. It might actually be real Games Workshop things, except I don't think anybody could actually justify pulling Tigurius into anything. He's like the I don't know, at this point, third most influential Ultramarine, who are the most influential people in the Imperium.
But he owes a blood debt to fucking Inquisitor Maverick's dad, who I assume is named Goose.
He's Iceman. Inquisitor
Ice Dad.
You know what? Inquisitor Iceman would be a pretty cool thing. That's fan fiction, bud, and it's not even good fan fiction.
Of course it's not good fan fiction. It wouldn't be fun if it was.
Oh my god.
That is My Ultramarine Army Intro by Sun Tzu. I knew he wrote the whole his Art of War. I guess he kind of laid low for a while, and he just was stewing around some ideas and workshopping around a little bit. And
he's been suing around some ideas. Hey,
his son's suing some ideas around, and he decided, you know what? It's been a couple thousand years. My Ultramarine Army Intro. Chef kiss.
That sounds horrible. Oh god, I was hoping it would be shorter. Like almost immediately, I was like, oh no.
So, what was your favorite part? Was your favorite part that he is best friends with Tigurius, apparently, that he is aided by an assassin named fucking X, or maybe 10. I assume X and not Roman numeral 10. Or that all the bad guys are teaming up together to form the Legion of Doom.
Fabulous Bill. Mm-hmm. Dark Eldar. And Tau?
Yeah, and Tau.
Oh, man. I liked all of it, man. I want to... send me a link so I can read it.
I really like that he spelled temporary wrong. But
oh, did he?
Oh, yeah. It's not the worst spelled thing I've ever read.
Did he spell experimentation wrong, or did you just botch that word?
I think I just botched the fuck out of that one. But I didn't stop.
All right, let's outro this motherfucker.
Yep.
You can contact us in many different ways, listeners. I don't know why you'd want to. Contact at 40kbadcast.com is a good place to start. If not, you can find us on Twitter. I am at DBSleazy on Twitter, or DZBZ if you want to do my title. He is at Brother SRM or Crumbs McLums on Twitter. We post pictures of our models. I retweet funny memes. And retweet reporters who talk about baseball. So give me a follow.
Yeah, I mostly just tweet dumb jokes about shit like jackets and politics. But yeah, no, I post most of my pictures on actually my Tumblr, which is cam2d.tumblr.com.
Hey, that's another social media platform.
Yeah, that's one more. I'm posting pictures there for fucking ever, so you can go back and look through everything I've pretty much painted in the last 5 years.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but so you can see how much better or worse my painting's gotten. You tell me. But also, you can see my show on YouTube. It's youtube.com/camhammershow. It's been derelict for a bit because of the whole wrist thing, but once I'm done moving, and if getting a little bit better, so I'll be coming back with new videos when I can. I can just
videos?
Nude videos, they're coming. They're gonna be real sexy.
Oh, they're certainly coming.
all unpainted, fresh from the sprue.
Oh no! I'm
barely
sorry.
Legal.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, but no, I'll be doing that soon. I just if I can spend 5 hours a day on a computer, I'm gonna be doing it for the job that pays my rent and my food, and not for some jabronis on YouTube who I love you all, but there's like 600 of you, and I need to eat. So. Yeah, so that's happening or not happening.
No juice for you.
No juice money for me this week.
All right, let's sink this sinking ship to the bottom of the sea and drown, ultimately dying.
Wow! I thought we didn't want to bring on like serious fan fiction because it'd bring the mood down, but here you are. Dan, do you need to talk?
I had a couple of beers before recording today at the pool, so I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah. Did I mention I was at the pool?
Yeah, you were living La Vida Tallboy over there. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Oh man, I'm stealing that. Okay, do you have an inspiring quote to inspire us to great heights?
When you decide to die, remember to give your enemy the same honor.
All right, that's it. I am Vacation Boy Dan. That guy is recovering wrists, Campbell.
Campbell McCripple.
We are the 40k Badcast.
And so can you.
And so can you.
To the stars.